Permaculture, food forests, regenerative farming, they're exploding across the country. We talk about soil microbes, compost, bees and butterflies, but there's a blind spot in the movement. Without bats, tropical forests would lose up to 80% of their natural regeneration, and American farmers would face billions of dollars in added crop losses every year. Globally, bats provide over $200 billion in ecosystem services each year, yet most people never connect their survival to our food. While we sleep, they pollinate more than 500 plant species, including cacao for chocolate and agave for tequila. A single bat scatters thousands of seeds in one night, replanting forests tree by tree, and yet their populations are collapsing out of sight. Regeneration isn't just about what's in the ground, it's also about what's in the skies above us. And unless we bring bats back into the story, permaculture and regenerative farming can't deliver on their promise. Bats are nature's forgotten engineers, and the scale of what they do is staggering. We know about bees, we know about butterflies, but bats are the only pollinators that can reach the night-blooming plants our ecosystems depend on. Without them, cacao, the base of all chocolate, simply doesn't fruit. Tequila? It exists because bats pollinate agave after dark, and ancient cultures knew this. The Maya told stories of bats guarding maize fertility, and the Aztecs believed bats carried the life force that kept food growing. Today, we dismiss them as pests, but for thousands of years people recognized bats as guardians of the harvest. But it's their role in seed dispersal that shocks even ecologists. One colony of fruit bats can spread seeds across 20 to 30 square miles of forest in a single season, speeds no human reforestation effort can match. Without bats, 80% of natural reforestation in the tropics would grind to a halt. And then, the soil. Bat guano isn't just fertilizer. It's one of the richest natural inputs on Earth, packed with nitrogen, phosphorus, and micronutrients. In fact, guano shaped global history. In the 1800s, entire wars and trade routes were fought over guano because it fueled agriculture around the world. Before synthetic fertilizer, guano was the gold standard, so valuable that ships carried it across oceans to feed nations. And now, regenerative farmers are rediscovering it as the original compost tea. Some regenerative farmers call it the original compost tea. Bat guano often tests at a nutrient ratio around March 1st 10, richer in nitrogen than many synthetic fertilizers. More importantly, it jumpstarts microbial activity, acting like a probiotic for depleted soils. In field trials, soils amended with guano saw microbial activity increase by over 200% compared to controls. In degraded landscapes, it can accelerate recovery years faster than soil microbes alone. Entire cave systems have soils more fertile than farmland because of centuries of guano deposits. But here's the kicker. This isn't just a tropical story. In the United States, bats save an estimated $3.7 billion every year by eating the moths, beetles, and leafhoppers that would otherwise strip our crops bare. To put that in perspective, that's more than the entire annual budget of the USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service. In California, bats provide an estimated $1 billion in pest control for wine grapes alone. In Texas cotton fields, bat activity reduces crop losses by over 50%. Saving farmers hundreds of thousands of dollars in pesticide costs each year. If bats disappear, the ripple effects are massive. Pesticide use would spike to cover the gap. Pollinator networks we're already struggling to protect would collapse further. Soil fertility would decline. And grocery bills? They wouldn't just rise. Some foods would disappear completely. Chocolate, tequila, bananas, even the resilience of our backyard food forests, all gone without bats. And that's the uncomfortable truth. Without bats, permaculture systems, food forests, and regenerative agriculture can't deliver on their promise. Across America, bat habitats are collapsing. Since 2006, white nose syndrome alone has killed more than 6 million bats. The northern long-eared bat has declined by 97% since 2006, a collapse so severe it was just listed as endangered. And the loss of old barns, hollow trees, and wild spaces has stripped away even more roosting grounds. But here's the overlooked fact. 80% of U.S. land is privately owned. That means the survival of bats isn't decided in national parks, it's decided in our backyards. And the numbers prove it. A single little brown bat can eat up to 1,000 insects in an hour. A small bat house holding 200 bats. That's more than 100,000 insects consumed every single night. Farmers already see this at scale. In Texas cotton fields, bat activity has been shown to reduce crop losses by more than 50%, saving growers millions of dollars in pesticide costs. Now scale that down to a backyard. The same moths and beetles that attack cotton also chew through tomatoes, beans, and fruit trees. 200 bats in a backyard roost are a pest control army working for free every single night. Over the course of one summer, that colony will eat an estimated 10 to 12 million insects, including moths and beetles that devastate corn, soybeans, and backyard gardens alike. That's the same level of pest control as roughly $30,000 worth of pesticides from a single backyard roost. It doesn't stop there. Studies in Texas have shown that bat activity in cotton fields reduces crop losses by over 50%, saving farmers millions in pesticide costs. Those same principles apply on the backyard scale. Every insect a bat eats is one less pesticide spray, one more pollinator spared, and one step closer to resilient soil. Now add bee hotels. A single bee hotel can shelter hundreds of solitary native bees, species responsible for pollinating up to 1/3 of the fruits and vegetables in a typical food garden. Add an owl house, and you've just invited in a predator that can eat 3,000 rodents in a single breeding season, protecting over 10 tons of stored grain from losses. This is what backyard rewilding really means. Not just planting flowers, but creating layered habitats. Bats above, bees in the middle, owls hunting the ground, that rebuild food webs from the ground up. One yard won't change the system, but 10,000? 100,000? That's how we scale regeneration across the country. The number one threat to bats isn't predators. It isn't even disease. It's habitat loss. Across North America, more than half of bat species are now in decline. But here's the good news. We can change that, starting right at home. A well-placed bat house can support 50 to 100 bats, and you're talking about tens of thousands of insects consumed every night, and millions across a single summer. That's one simple box on your house, shed, or barn, creating measurable impact for food security, pollination, and soil health. That's why we've linked an affordable resource where you can grab a bat house of your own. And while you're there, check out bee hotels and owl houses. A bee hotel can shelter hundreds of solitary native bees, the species that pollinate up to 1/3 of the vegetables in a typical food garden. These aren't gadgets, they're tools. Tools to restore balance. Tools to rebuild biodiversity faster than policy ever could. This is how movements start. One backyard, one block, one community at a time. And when enough of us act, the numbers add up. Millions of insects controlled, pollinator networks rebuilt, biodiversity restored. That's how we turn the tide. That's the scale we're talking about. Just 1% of households could outbuild the entire U.S. refuge system. Imagine millions of new habitats stitched across neighborhoods, farms, and towns. That's how fast regeneration spreads when ordinary people act. So here's my question. Will your yard be one of them? Drop your answer in the comments, because your idea might be the spark that gets someone else to take action. Right now, the U.S. loses an estimated 80,000 acres of wildlife habitat every year to development. That's the equivalent of more than 60,000 football fields, gone annually. But here's the truth. If even a fraction of America's 90 million backyards became microhabitats, we could outpace that loss within a decade. One bat house here, one bee hotel there, one owl box on the edge of a field, multiplied across neighborhoods and farms, adds up to millions of safe havens. This is how regeneration spreads, quietly, collectively, from yard to yard until the whole landscape is stitched back together. Bats, bees, owls, they are the architects of biodiversity. But they need us to finish the blueprint. And the future depends on whether we act now or keep waiting for someone else. So let's not wait. Let's restore balance, one backyard at a time. We will drop links to bat houses and other pollinator resources in the description. Bats are disappearing fast, but they don't need massive rescue plans to recover. They just need us to make space for them again. So here's my question for you. What's one step you've taken, or want to take, to make your yard part of the solution? Share it in the comments. Your idea might inspire someone else to act. Tell us in the comments. Your answer might give someone else the spark they need to start.